Juggernaut is one of my favorite characters, and it's high time Marvel gives him the live-action treatment he deserves. He's been treated worse than what Dragon Ball Evolution did to my guy Goku back in 2009. But with Marvel bringing the X-Men back, it's finally time for Juggernaut to get a real story, whether it's in his own movie, a series, or even a special presentation. And don't tell me we can't get that. It's wild to think we can't have a project on him. We've got shows based on Echo, and we're getting a Clayface movie before a Batman film in the new DCU. So, yeah, I want to see a Juggernaut project that does justice to him and shows his connection to Charles and the roots of his power. In X-Men: The Last Stand, Juggernaut, portrayed by Vinnie Jones, appears as a mutant with unstoppable running speed and superhuman strength, but there's no connection to Charles or the Gem of Cyttorak. He's recruited by Magneto to stop a mutant cure and is eventually stopped by Kitty Pryde and Leech. Jones has mentioned wanting to return for a spin-off, feeling there wasn't enough time to fully develop the character in The Last Stand. Juggernaut was originally set to appear in X-Men Days of Future Past, played by Josh Hellman, but the role was switched to Quicksilver, and Hellman was later cast as William Stryker. In the end, Juggernaut never got a proper adaptation of his story or physique in the X-Men movies. However, Deadpool 2 took care of the physique part. Juggernaut in Deadpool 2 was created using motion capture, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and portrayed with a mix of actors. He's imprisoned in the Icebox, where he befriends Russell Collins. They escape together, with Juggernaut wreaking havoc on their way to destroy the orphanage where Russell was mistreated. Deadpool, Cable, and Domino try to stop him, but Juggernaut is ultimately overpowered by Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Yukio. While the physical portrayal was spot on, the character's backstory was still missing, but I was at least happy to see him in action. Then there was a glimmer of hope when an alternate version of Juggernaut from X-Men: The Last Stand appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine, played by Aaron W. Reed, who resembled the older, dumb-looking version from the X-Men films. But all of this is about to change, as we're getting the X-Men officially into the MCU after Secret Wars. And it won't just be one or two projects, it will be a lot more than that. The X-Men movie reboot is still in progress, but the MCU is already planning to introduce mutants sooner rather than later. They've been bringing in some X-Men actors from the old Fox Marvel films to get the audience ready for Marvel's upcoming reboot of these classic characters. While there haven't been many updates on the X-Men future in the MCU, a recent tease from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige might hint at some big things coming in phases 5 and 6. At the Disney APAC Content Showcase in Singapore, Kevin Feige appeared virtually to give a sneak peek into the next few years of the MCU, including the X-Men. While he didn't reveal specifics about the X-Men reboot, Feige hinted that fans might see some familiar mutants before the end of the multiverse saga. He shared that these appearances would lead into the Age of Mutants, saying, "I think you will see that continue in our next few movies with some X-Men characters you might recognize." Right after that, the whole story of Secret Wars really leads us into a new age of mutants and the X-Men. Again, it's one of those dreams come true. We finally have the X-Men back. Kevin Feige's comments about the X-Men suggest that the MCU is finally gearing up to focus on more mutants, building on the slow introduction of the concept throughout the multiverse saga. Even though the traditional X-Men team hasn't been the main focus yet, characters like Ms. Marvel and Namor have already been revealed as mutants, and Feige's words hint that we'll see some more familiar X-Men characters soon. While Feige had previously mentioned that the X-Men would be a key part of the MCU after Avengers: Secret Wars, the fact that they'll make an appearance in Phase 6 shows how Marvel Studios is starting to set them up for the future. A detail that supports Feige's comments is the reveal that Storm will appear in What If Season 3, marking her first appearance in the interconnected MCU. With only a few projects left in Phase 6, there are limited opportunities to introduce X-Men characters before Secret Wars concludes the multiverse saga. This could involve bringing back actors from the Fox Marvel universe to reprise their roles, or casting new stars to portray the main versions of these iconic characters in the MCU. And I hope with Juggernaut they cast a new actor like Alan Ritchson, through whom they can tell Juggernaut's story and how he became that bulky we all came to know. And the MCU could totally put a new spin on Juggernaut and even introduce a hero version of him. In the comics, there's even a hero version of Juggernaut in the next generation. Marvel's new take on Juggernaut is gaining some attention, especially with the upcoming Kid Juggernaut solo series debuting in spring 2025. The series will follow Justin Jin, who's about to make a name for himself as a superhero while attending the Avengers Academy. With Kid Juggernaut #1, written by Emily Kim and illustrated by Peter Nguyen and Minkyu Jung, on the way, it's worth revisiting what Kim and the character's creator, Anthony Oliveira, have said about the significance of the character, how he ties into the legacy of the original Juggernaut, and where he fits in the larger Marvel universe. Anthony Oliveira recently talked about how he and his team came up with Kid Juggernaut, a new character in the Marvel universe. They wanted to make someone who wasn't just a replacement for Kane Marco, the original Juggernaut, but someone who could completely change what it means to be a Juggernaut. Instead of just taking on the role, Kid Juggernaut was meant to create his own path, especially through his connection with his grandfather, who was once the original Juggernaut before Kane Marco. Oliveira explained that Justin's journey is all about figuring out what it means to be a hero based on his own values, not just what others expect from him. He compared Justin to Kane Marco, aiming to make Justin a hero who's sure of who he is, but also kind, gentle, and patient, qualities Kane Marco didn't really show. While Justin might face challenges, he stays sweet and determined to do his best. Overall, Oliveira described Justin as not only a powerful hero, but also a genuinely good person with kindness and moral integrity. He's someone who stands out as both a hero and a great person, which Oliveira said was his favorite kind of character to create. Kid Juggernaut has been making small appearances, but Marvel is slowly bringing him more into the main story. Oliveira says the character was made to be a contrast to Kane Marco, making Justin Jin a more kind and compassionate hero. In his upcoming series, Justin's strength, both physical and emotional, will be tested to show why he's so important. So, Marvel has officially started a new era in Juggernaut lore, one that will challenge long-held expectations about power and heroism in the MCU. Hopefully, this story will eventually translate to the big screen, and we'll see Juggernaut's journey unfold in the MCU soon. Let me know what you think about Juggernaut getting his own MCU project. Would you prefer a movie, a series, or a special presentation? And how do you feel about Kid Juggernaut taking on the mantle in the comics? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on your favorite Marvel characters. See you next time!